dudes. We're back again. And what we're going to do is we're going to check out how to play the bass drum. That's a really important thing. You know, if you're very new, this can be really helpful even for just foot placement. But then there's a couple techniques to get us playing faster, especially our doubles, right? When we want to get 2 notes consecutively very quickly. We want those to be clean, right? This is kind of like similar to like double stroke roll with our hands, right? We want to get that stuff real solid, real confident. Sorry, there's a bass player with a inferiority complex next door, so that's going to be a little loud. I'm going to try and get that out. We'll see what happens. Anyway, okay, so we're talking about bass drum, okay? So I got Steve here. Steve, excited about this one? Yeah, me too. What? Well, yeah, I'll get into that. Okay, so yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. So I got main Steve camera. Now I have camera B again for our little foot action going on. Main thing, gotta have your shoes match any kind of jewelry you're wearing. If you show up to a gig without that, it's gonna be humiliating. Just don't even bother going to the gig. But you always have to have your foot match your hands, okay? Or your necklace, whatever you're wearing. But that's like rule number 1. That's really important. You can see my socks too, right? I'm not at the gig, so I'm not worrying too much about it, but they're pretty cool socks. Okay, so what we're gonna do, first things first, right? Where does our foot go on the bass drum pedal? Well, let's look. So we got Iron Cobra right here, right? What company is that? I don't know. I'm not sure. We're not going to talk about that. But those are the words on the pedal, so we're going with that. So that's going to be kind of like 2/3 up the pedal is where we want like the pressure point of our foot to be, right? So how I like to do is I like to play with my heels up on both feet. This ensures balance. This also ensures effortless hitting of the bass drum. Not everyone plays this way, and that's totally cool. Everyone has their different preferences, right? This is not the right way to play it. This is a way to play it. This is the way that works for me, that's comfortable for me, that I teach my students. But I always leave it open. Whatever feels right, right? As long as you're not going to hurt yourself or get in your own way. So for me, I like to have the heels up so that my balance is good, right? Because when we start getting into like different feet, you know, our feet doing different things, we want to make sure we're not wobbling all over the place, right? I've even had students fall out of their chairs. It's like, what are you doing, bozo? Come on, like get balanced, right? So we want our weight in our seat, okay? So that our legs are free to do whatever the heck they need to do in order to get the sound we're looking for. That's the sound we're looking for. So that's how I start, okay? Now things are going to change a little bit depending on the double technique that we're going to talk about. But for now, just initial setting up, our foot should be over that like 2/3 of the pedal. Sometimes the pedal has like, if you play DW, it's like a 5,000, right? Or 9,000, whatever. But maybe close to the number, I forget the top number. That might be the sweet spot. I haven't played that pedal in a while, so. But either way, it's usually around 2/3 of the way up the pedal. That's where the sweet spot is. That's where it's like you get the most leverage and you do the least work to hit it. Some people play heel down. That's cool too. And probably a similar positioning. But either way, what we're focusing on is this. So what we want to do to hit a good bass drum hit is we never leave the pedal, because then our our beater just goes wild, which we don't want. Beater's gone wild, none of that. We want to always be in control of the pedal. So what we're doing is we're kind of just like pushing up and then dropping our foot, right? So we're never fully leaving the pedal. We're always touching it in some way so that we don't get those weird rebounds. So we just kind of push up and then drop our legs weight. It's all about gravity. We want like the most effortless playing we can have, right? Because we don't want to get tired out super quick, and we just want to use Mother Nature, just like let that foot drop, right? Similar thing for the left foot too, but I don't have a camera for that, so just experiment with it. Either way, that's our initial way that we want to hit the bass drum, right? It's the way I want to. You might want to do it differently. I don't care, then change the channel, whatever. Anyway, so next thing, we're going to talk about the doubles, right? There's, you know, when we play a groove and we're just doing singles, so as you can see, I also rest my foot in between each one of these hits. So I hit and then I'll just chill, right? Because I don't want to be like this the whole time. I'm gonna like lose feeling in my legs. I don't want that. So yeah, anytime you can have a chance to relax while you're playing and like just let your muscles just bleh, then that's what you want to do. It kind of takes some practice. You don't want to think too much about that. You just want to take advantage of it when it's there. So, you know, like any technique thing we practice, we want to be very aware of it at first so that we don't have to be aware of it at all later, right? We just want muscle memory. So that's the first thing, right? Those are our singles. So one way to get into the doubles is a very common way. This was like the first thing I ever learned was the slide technique. Okay, so that's where, for me, again, this is my interpretation of it, is where I kind of start at a lower part of the pedal and then end up in the sweet spot. So it's like, right? So I'm hitting lower, ending in the spot that I intend to be at for the rest of my playing, right? So, and it takes some practice. You can do exercises, but you just have to be careful because you're going slow at first, like we do all exercises slow at first. We don't want to get, like, it's gonna feel weird. It's just a weird feeling because it's not the way you would play at a slower tempo. But you're doing it to, again, teach your muscles what they're supposed to do when the time comes, which is a faster tempo. So, you know, you can go, right? And that's a very moderate tempo. So just going 1 and 2 and 1. 2, 3, 4. What does this remind us of? This is our bass drum fluency page, page 2, right? If you go to my website, you can download that. But that's going to be a great way to practice this stuff, is all the doubles, that whole page with all the doubles, because it's just getting you used to putting that double in every possible position in the 16th note grid. Of course, you can use it in other grids as well, other subdivisions, which we will want to do. But for now, right, that's a great way to just like get through each one of those 16th note things. And so, yeah, just getting like, right? And again, that's really slow, right? We probably won't use that technique until we get real quick, like. So, and that's also, what was I going to say? Steve, where was I going with that? I don't know. Either way, that's how you do it, right? Oh, I remember. So, notice, the faster I go, the smaller that motion is, right? Because when we're going fast, we don't have time to go like, oh, way down here, and then we're there. It's like, no, come on, we don't have that time. So, did a 3, but whatever, sloppy stuff, but you get the idea. All right, maybe we'll do a segue right here. Welcome back. So now we're gonna do the heel-toe technique. Heel-toe technique. So this is a one of these things where which way do you start? Because like I learned one heel-toe technique and then I had another teacher and they're like, here's the heel-toe technique, and it was the opposite. But it achieves the same thing. It is the same thing. It's just whichever one you start with. And so what that is, this heel-toe technique, is we're going to start with our heel on the floor, right? As you can see. and then we're gonna go up to get that first hit, and then drop for the second hit. So we're still using our singular hit technique, right? We're doing that thing where we just drop our weight. But the first one is hitting up, right? And then you drop. So this is kind of, to me, if you want to make a comparison to something, the opposite of a double stroke in terms of what my technique was in the previous video. So check it out. Check out that video. It's a good one. Because in this case, what tends to happen is the second note of our doubles on the bass drum tends to be louder than the first note. That's not always the ideal situation. Sometimes, yeah, that's cool for whatever style you're playing or whatever sound you're going for. This is the sound we're looking for. We want to make sure that our first note is strong as hell too. So we got the first note and the second note trying to be as equal as possible, right? So when we do that, right, we want to practice getting that first note super strong. Best way to do that, here's like best way to practice this, right? Here's the exercise. It's painful. I used to do this when I was in music school. I would eat lunch while doing this, and then I burned all these calories. I looked like I was on heroin. It was pretty rough, but my foot got in good shape at that time. So what we want to do is we get quarter notes on our hi-hat, however you want to subdivide this. But we're going to play eighth notes on the foot. We're going to do like a bar of heel down only, and then a bar of the heel toe technique. And what we want to try to listen for, it's all about the ear, because we're playing music, it's all about the ear. We want to make sure that those notes are even, right? That's what we're going for, is the evenness. So we're going to start with all heel down. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 4, and 1, and 1. Right? So just to get that out there, right? That's an exhausting exercise. You got to go slow. You know, don't wear yourself out. Don't strain yourself, because it's like jumping rope. It's like, yeah, you can do a minute at first, but it's exhausting. And then over time, you keep at it, you can do 10, 15 minutes at a time, right? So this is tough. So go slow, like I said. But yeah, just keep it like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and, right? That's the best way to do it. You can also do maybe like triplets, because the coordination thing gets funky at that point, where you're going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That one's weird, but it's good for you. It's practicing your foot technique. It's also getting you comfortable with something that might be very uncomfortable at first. But you never know what you're going to run into, right? That's the whole point of exercises, not just, well, okay, so half the point of exercises is, yeah, we're going to get really good at this technique we want to do, but it also is just preparing us for whatever's going to be thrown at us, right? We don't know. We don't know what kind of, like, things we're going to run into in our musical career, so you might come across something that's really, potentially could be really challenging, but you may have already kind of practiced it in some way, right? In some, like, deep level, some, like, back of brain, right? You might already have experienced it, so it might not be as challenging as one might think, right? So that's why we want to work on all that kind of thing, where it's like, yeah, it's trickier, but it's getting us comfortable with something that probably, you know, we wouldn't think to encounter, but we might. And even if it's something not related, it might come around in some way and so on some level, and some, yeah, like whatever subconscious thing, it sprinkled into this other technique that will be helpful. So hope that was clear. Anyway, Steve, you get it, right? Yeah, you get it. Yeah. So if Steve gets it, you got it. We're all on the same page here. So anyway, back to it. The thing that's cool about both of these techniques is, you know, you might come in contact with like different scenarios, right? Where maybe you use the slide for rock or something. Like I tend to kind of, I think it maybe depends on the situation, but for like samba playing, I didn't even realize it, but I play heel toe for that. So like, say it's like, so, and that's kind of a weird looking thing because my foot kind of does this dancey thing because samba makes you dance, man. But the technique also just, that kind of just is what happens for me. Your foot might do something else, but I've noticed that's just like what my body did to like achieve the sound that I'm trying to get, right? And so that's a great way to just, you know, well, whatever, it's not a great, it's just, that's my way of doing it, and that's what came comfortably and naturally for me. But it might be different for you. I just feel like the slide in that situation where it's relentless like that, the slide is just sloppier. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. And again, that's for me. It might be different for you. So don't sass me. So you know, try out what works for you. Because yeah, for rock, right, like, and again, that's like a 16th note triplet, right? So different subdivision, but same technique. I'm doing the slide, right? So yeah, either one. Another, I'll maybe put this on the site as well. A great exercise for this, which is gonna kind of combine all of our double bass drums, is doing this over the bar line thing. Takes 3 bars to do it, but what we're basically doing is doing a 3/4. We're going. Right? That's kind of all that's going on, but then we put the snare on 2 and 4, and then we get this. Right? And we do that 3 bars, and it comes back around full circle. But either way, you speed that baby up, you got yourself an exercise. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then faster. And you can do that with the slide, you can do that with the heel toe, right? And there you go. So those are 2. Yeah, I'll post that somewhere. Maybe I'll like put it on the video. Steve, you figure it out. I don't know how to do that. You do it. So yeah, so check that out. You know, that's just only if you really are serious about going big time. All right, next thing I want to talk about is kind of like, what was it? Like endurance and conditioning, right? Playing drums is extremely physical, right? I have one of these like fitness ring things, and I didn't realize how many calories I was burning until I got one of them. And it's crazy. Like you really can like get worn out playing drums and practicing, you know, like just a gig, I'll burn like 1,200 calories or something in a night just from active, not to, you know, that's aside from like just whatever, walking around the house and stuff. That was like, you know, like exercisey stuff. Whatever, so maybe some of you guys are big buffies, I don't know, and you're like, oh, that's nothing, you're an idiot, and whatever. And go look at a fitness channel, and I don't want to say anything inappropriate, but, you know, whatever. It's, regardless, you're burning calories all over the place. And it's exhausting. You can get beat, right? Especially for older folks like me. But, you know, if you're 20, maybe it's like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I felt like I could play way longer when I was 20. But, man, like, playing samba for, like, 3-4 hours straight can be exhausting. That was rough. Even, like, my personal band, it's technical, it's tough, it's, like, mentally straining, physically straining. So what you want to do, what I'm trying to get at, is you gotta, if you're playing drums, any instrument, it's like, yeah, there's the whole, oh yeah, I'm a rock star, man, but we gotta drink all the time, we're gonna eat Taco Bell. Don't do it. Don't do that. Respect yourself. Be healthy. You gotta exercise. You gotta eat right, right? Because you want this for a long time, right? You don't want to fall apart. Like, I had teachers, this guy, Chuck Flores, when I was going to school. That guy was like 80, and he was awesome. He was such a great player, and he was 80. And I miss that guy, but I learned a lot of good like jazz stuff from him. He's actually the one who's like, don't do that rockin' left foot thing on your hi-hat, that's stupid. And so he told me to lift up my heel and like get a good chick sound out of the hi-hat, you know? And that was like, wow, that's way better, you're right. I'm a dummy, I'm, you know, young, I don't know anything. So that was awesome. But either way, that guy was 80. Like, he had the longevity, right? He was playing so far into his life. That's so cool, and that's what I want to do. That's what I hope you would want to do. But either way, we got to, take care of ourselves. We need to also do these exercises to, like, get better, you know, do our 10,000 hours of whatever thing we want to get better at. But also, we want to get so that we don't get tired after, like, 10 minutes of playing, right? Like, this foot exercise is grueling, and you're not going to do that much on a gig. Maybe, I don't know, it depends on your gig. If you're some metal person, you're probably like doing that all the time, whatever, then you already know about it. But it takes a while to get there, right? You got to build up to it. So exercises, should be treated like as if you're lifting weights, right? It's like a real exercise. So try to, treat that same way. Be focused with it. You know, take care of yourself though. You know, rest properly because you don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want like get tendinitis wherever you can. I've never heard of it getting in your legs, but I bet it can happen. So, you know, practice your technique, but do it reasonably. Be judicious with your shredding, you know. It's important. Be judicious with your shredding. Man, the space player, though, they are really trying to prove something. So anyway, that's what I think you should do. You got to respect yourself. You got to be healthy, right? You got to treat these exercises like you're exercising muscles, which is exactly what you're doing. So, you know, proper rest, proper diet, and, you know, all we're doing is preparing ourselves for gigs so that when we play these gigs, we're at our top-notch self every time we perform, right? So, that's what you want, especially if you want to go big time.